your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Got gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Don't care about your. My people visual. I guess they lost all their vision though. What's the residual? We got nothing back. We ain't stick to the principle. Don't let them riddle you. We do it big and they do it minuscule. They placing a hit on you. They find a way to try to get rid of you. Eat and behave. Stop finding out ways. I am too grave. Obadiah, yeah, let's turn to the page. Read it and weep. Bunch of dead bodies out on the street. Who's that just came out of Basra? He came out of nowhere just like a thief. We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Got gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Don't care about your.
We got the guys in the building, got the solutions to stop all the killings. We go to the sick and we give them the healing. We very heroic but labeled as villains. The guys in the building. Better yet, we on the block with the killers and the thieves. And get your thesis, rip the pieces. As we move the minds of our people, no telekinesis. We young and shamanic, you might not get it. The blood of the prophets is in our genetics. Our enemies look so pathetic. Pull a script on apologies and make them look so apologetic. Oh, clap our hands, shout on to God with voices of triumph. Give praise to the King, the God of our God, the leader and ruler of Zion. Guys in the building.
We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Got gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. We got the gods in the building. Got gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care about your feelings. Don't care about your. We got the gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings. We got the gods in the building. We do not care about your feelings.
Looking back, turn into a pillar of salt, no tasting that. Ain't got no time to sleep, a full-blown insomniac. I'd rather read and breathe, I'm a Bible maniac. Leave your problems at the door, here's a luggage rack. Maybe you didn't understand, let me double back. Your sin is what's leaking, your lust is what's reeking. It's clogging your arteries, now your heart is stop beating. You come back every now and then, your path repeating. Prepared also for temptation, yours preheating.
Ask the apostles, don't understand? Then ask the apostles. Taking it back like fossils. All of the prophets are black, that's awesome.
Yeah, all these nations don't catch heart attack. When they realize that Christ is black, the apostles is black, the Israelites is black. Yeah, the most are coming back for it.
We giving all the tax, imagine that. We giving all the tax, imagine that. We going precept for line up for line. We going precept for line up for line. We giving all the tax, imagine that. We giving all the tax, imagine that. We going precept for line up for line. The most I dropping them down, don't run out of time.
We giving heart attacks, imagine that. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. They grabbing their chest like Sanford or son, not the Pledge of Allegiance. They see us in concourse, this a conquest. You need a passport, the gold con, I mean a Congo. Not Monopoly, but I'm past go. Checkmate with a castle, border blue with them tassels. Timothy is in these last days. If they could, they'll stone us. When we die, we'll die kings, and then awake to a dynasty. When you die, you'll die asleep, and then awake to calamity. Cut up from the root, not beer, but I'm a brute. Stop sinning, keep the truth. Idleness and idolatry, witchcraft as rebellion, revelers and extortioners. No shame for you covered us, no pity for you murderers.
Some still campaign, fire upon the murderers, the thieves, the rapists.
get blazed over. The chariots looking like Range Rovers. You nervous now cause you know the Lord spoken. The kingdom on the way, we gon' enjoy it for you. I will tell you how it is, but I hate to spoil it for you. We taking back our crown in our land from these wicked men who thought that they can just devour us. We building back our nation from the ground up. I'm a God on the earth, now let me proud. These heathens, they sick to the stomach, I can trust them, cause they didn't know the law empowered us. No evil will prevail against the children, but instead recompense due to the sinners. Between me and you, here's the difference. We got the ball in our hands, and this right here a game
winner. We giving order, tax, imagine that. We giving order, tax, imagine that. We going precept for line and per line. We going precept for line and per line. We giving order, tax, imagine that. We giving order, tax, imagine that. We going precept for line and per line. The most I dropping them dimes, don't run out of time. Hey, shout out to all you heretics out there, man. Same old spiggers. Yeah, one time for you heretics. One time for you dumbass. Two times for you brothers that ain't doing shit. No, you just clickbait. No, this ain't a diss tape. No, some truth tape on a mixtape. Keep the laws, but you still hate. But you still hate. One time for you heretics. One time. Two times for you brothers that ain't doing shit. Come on, you just clickbait. Yeah. No, this ain't a diss tape, but some truth tape on a mixtape. Keep the laws, but you still hate.
Murderers, brothers got hate in they heart. Should've known that you were fake from the start. Causing divisions, then you will be marked. Try to get even, now we just at odds. Peeping the way how you move from afar. Not playing space, but we pulling your card. Children of God and we keeping the charge. This is the reason we gotta go hard. One time for you hating spigots. Two up in these fake spigots. Out that work where y'all play, wages of sin. Twice you gon' pay. Profits don't have time to take breaks. Stacking up bricks to walk through those gates. Avoiding all these foolish questions. Keep hating, but we got the blessing. Peaceful mind while you still stressing. Dropping knowledge and you still resting. The love for another that's killing your brother. You say that you keeping the laws. I know there'll be heretics, this is imperative. You were just playing your part.
Yeah, one time for you heretics. One time for you dumbass. Two times for you brothers that ain't doing shit. No, you just clickbait. No, this ain't a diss tape. No, some truth tape on a mixtape. Keep the laws, but you still hate. But you still hate. One time for you heretics. One time. Two times for you brothers that ain't doing shit. Come on, you just clickbait. No, this ain't a diss tape, but some truth tape on a mixtape. Keep the laws, but you still hate.
Yeah, how they hating from the couch, always running their mouth. How they fall from the top, every video flop. Now they ass getting mocked. We the ones on the block, they the ones getting blocked. Old pictures getting cropped, fell out over guap. Mad cause the money stopped. Damn, now we see what you was here for. You only worry about your billfold. Turned on us to the white man. Damn boy, you's a weirdo. Damn boy, you went real low. You remind me of Jason. Not Friday the 13th, but the one who turned on his nation. You unclean like bacon. You remind me of Swine Boy. You thought we needed you to put your truth, but we doing just fine, boy. Well, actually, we doing better. Purple and gold still shine, boy. Shout out to the rejects. Let the blind lead the blind, boy. Now I'm back on the mission. Prophesy like I'm fishing. Posted up on the block. Ox said, bring it out. Sons of God in position. The devil try and bring division, but I ain't with no sedition. I ain't doing no tripping. I ain't doing no slipping. Still focus on the vision.
Yeah, one time for you heretics. One time for you dumbass. Two times for you brothers that ain't doing shit. No, you just clickbait.
vanish and be gone in chariots.
Hocus pocus, them boys, where they went at? Took them up in the sky, how they do that? Disappeared in my eyes, where they went at? If you sit there, you know you can't get in. Hocus pocus, them boys, where they went at? Took them up in the sky, how they do that? Disappeared in my eyes, where they went at?
That's it, 12
If you sit there, you know you can't get in.
I got it, I tell my people not to quit. We the real Jews and them mothers counterfeits. Prophecy fitters like fresh outfits. Looking up and ready for that last trumpet. See the fire, red zeal in his eyes and his prophets. Chairs coming down, your army can't even stop it. Whirlwind have you spinning around feeling nauseous. Chucking up the deuces in the air like pathogens. Mad cause they watching us. Face all red cause they losing all they oxygen. Big black angels at the gate steady stopping them. The kingdom is not for them. The Lord ain't died for them. Why you even cry for them?
Hocus pocus, the wicked in a daydream. They painted their likeness, dropped the smoke screen. I ate the little book, it gave me protein. I'm walking with giants, yeah, you never seen. Hocus pocus, them boys, where they went at? Took them up in the sky, how they do that? Disappeared in my eyes, where they went at? If you sit there, you know you can't get in. Hocus pocus, them boys, where they went at? Took them up in the sky, how they do that? Disappeared in my eyes, where they went at? If you sit there, you know you can't get in.
I'm laughing, they like what happened. They just vanished. A black man just cracked the sky now. You can panic, you robbed me on my culture with no problem. And now you're about to die here like Dennis Rodman. I told you, thought I told you in Obadiah that you don't want no beef like empanadas. I've been here, yep, I've been here. If he got a yellow thin here, he can't come in here. You don't even got no melanin, you need some skincare. I vote Christ for president, don't bring your sin here. I'm on a different element, my people must read. You heathens just...
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. I'm Officer Mike out of the Houston camp.
Shalom Israel, Officer Halez Austin. All praises.
This is Officer Otnell. I'll be reading today.
All right, all praises. All right, Israel, this is Daily Bread, and we're getting ready to send up the prayers.
Israel, blow trumpets. Trumpets down. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, Lord, but deliver us from all evil. For thine is the power and the glory and the kingdom forever. Amen.
All right, so let's go ahead and put up the disclaimer.
We are Israel United in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a non-violent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1 of the King James Version Bible.
All right, all praises. All right, so I'm Officer Michael, and we down here in Austin doing Daily Bread with Officer Halez. How you doing this morning, Officer?
I'm doing very well now that I got my brothers here.
All praises. Well, we enjoyed the Sabbath. But whenever we get on Daily Bread, man, it seems like my brother Agniel be losing his voice, man. I hope he make it through today. All right, so today, class, we're going to go over Israel has lost its core values. Israel has lost its core values. And we see the way that we're portrayed so much in the media, on television, even when we go in our neighborhoods and down the streets and things like that. Right. Look how people are carrying themselves. So I seen this article, and with this article, how we're being portrayed. Come on, let's go ahead and put up that article real quick. All right, and in this article, it's called Burt's Bees, and it was a holiday ad. We're gonna see how the black family was portrayed in this. And remind you, this is about Israel, not just the so-called blacks. When we teach about Israel, it's the blacks, Hispanics, and the Native Americans. That's right. All right. So watch. We got some stuff on. We're gonna touch about all of Israel today. All right. Go ahead.
Burt's Bees apologizes for offensive holiday ad featuring black family.
So they had to apologize. Wait a minute. Go back down. Go back down. They had to apologize for an ad. This is their ad. This is the black family. Look at that whole family right there. That's what we're seeing. This is an image that's portrayed about our people today. Where is the Father? Where is the Father? Roll it up. All right, right there. Okay. Roll it up a little bit. We're going to look at these images. Okay, so look at these families they got, also, Les. You see the Father in all those images, but one. All right. So that's what they portrayed as a black family right there. Okay, roll it back down. All right. No. We're going to read this.
A Burt's Bees ad featuring a black family wearing the brand's matching holiday pajamas has sparked questions and caused outrage. Folks on social media noticed that the black father is missing and didn't like it one bit. There was an outcry about stereotyping of black families.
Stereotyping of black families. This is the way we're stereotyped, by the images and things that they put out. All right, now roll it back up. Let's look at these images again. All right, look, even one family got the dog in the picture with them. He's part of their family.
Damn.
The father's there. But look at this one.
You know, and what's sad is, believe it or not, it's definitely wrong to to add this picture and not have the father, his presence there with the family.
Right.
But is it accurate? Is it accurate?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Let's find out. Roll it up. Roll it up. Roll it up. Roll it up. Right there.
On Thursday, November 19th, the company tweeted an apology for the Amazon ad. We are so deeply sorry. We have learned a lot this year about impact and intent. Our intent was never to promote an awful stereotype about black families.
You see, that's what the officer just said. But is that accurate? But they're trying to tell you about it wasn't their intent, but you allowed it to happen. You knew there was a father in that family. But so what was your true intent? But read on.
Our intent was never to promote an awful stereotype about black families or to inflict hurt upon anyone. We understand that even so, there is an impact and this image causes harm, the company said.
Wait a minute. He said that this image causes harm. So we know there's certain things that you can do. Is something called like a psychological thing that you can do to people. So that's what you portray to people. Right. So that's what you did with that image.
Those subliminal messages.
Right.
And a lot of times they go over our heads. We don't realize the images that they put out is actually you're registering it in your mind and retaining it.
Right.
And that's what you see as a black family. It's okay for the father to be absent.
It's a normal.
It's the norm.
Right. So that's the stereo that they put out there. Go ahead.
According to the statement, real families were used in the photo shoot.
Here you go. Here go the confession now. Go ahead.
Which were originally scheduled for the past summer. However, the pandemic forced them to reschedule the photo sessions, which conflicted with the black dad's work schedule.
Now, what I want you to do, is read that from according. Read that again.
According to the statement, real families were used in the photo shoot.
See, right there, that tells you Just like they had all the other photos and the photo without the father. That's what they're saying. They said that's a real family with the father in there. That's what they're saying. They said according to the statement, real families was used in the photo. Come on.
Which were originally scheduled for the past summer. However, the pandemic forced them to reschedule the photo sessions, which conflicted with the black dad's work schedule. The black mom still participated with their 2 daughters.
Hold it right there. Hold it right there. Now, if that was my family, and I realized as the man that I know that they're going to put this out and the whole world's going to see it. And I know that they scheduled other families, just like they scheduled my family, and all our families is going to be seen. I would have told my family to back up. If y'all can't do it according to my schedule, we're going to wait. Because of the message, the stereotype it might put out there about my wife and kids without me. And I am present. You see what I'm saying? Read on.
We promise that this one post is not indicative
Roll it up.
of our core values, and we hope that you will see that by diving deeper into our website and our social channels, the statement continued.
Come on.
People call that explanation a lame excuse.
You see that? That's why I wanted that read as well. Somebody, you can dig deeper and find out that's not how we really are. But what did the people say? You see comments, what did they say?
People call that explanation a lame excuse.
Come on, and then they're gonna give you a why. It is like common sense. Why was that a lame excuse? Read.
Some of them pointed out that the company could have accommodated the black father's work schedule or used a different black family, adding that they will boycott Burt B's products.
You know what's so heavy about that? That they could have accommodated the black father's work schedule or use a different family. Those are 2 other routes that you could have went and study the stereotype image that you put out there. 2 other routes you could have went. It was like common sense to somebody. That's why they said that's a lame excuse. Dig deep and find out they would not like that. No, we're going to accommodate. Well, y'all, we really want your family to do this, so we'll wait on you, sir. That makes sense. You know, okay, well, since you're not, you can't meet our schedule, we reschedule with you a couple times, we're just going to have to go ahead and use another family. What's wrong with that? Instead of putting out that stereotype of a black family, that was considered a black family without the father.
Right. And one thing I want to bring out is a lot of time imagery is very important. Imagery it holds a lot of weight. And even the children, when they see that, because children read, children see things.
Right.
And they'll retain it as this is a family. The father doesn't need to be present. It could be a family just having mom there, you know, and that says messages to our children that that's what a black family looks like. And look at the white man's family, though. Look at the Arab family. Everybody, they have a hedge. They have a protector. They have you know, the father and the mother, the way it's supposed to be.
They're both their parents. They're always presented like that. That's why you see when you see our people, like, what is it called, like on draft day, not all of them, but majority of them. I like to thank my mom. She right here with me while I'm going to this college, making my decision. I like to thank my mom. You see that all the time. And then so that didn't make it no better.
That's right.
So that would put a stereotype. Yeah, that could be me and my mom and my sister in a single parent household. You see what I'm saying? We could have got that opportunity. Not knowing that there's a father with that family, though. All right, so go to the next ad. Go to the next ad. The Black Family, 40 Years of Lies. So this is only one. This is one image lately that have been put out about us. All right, so this is another article back in 2005. But the other one's like, I think, 2018 that we just took down. So that was something recent. But we're going to go back a few years and look at the Black Family lies. 40 Years of Lies. Okay, go ahead. All right, started from the top. Roll back down. All right, so you're going to read from the top up?
Okay. To go back to the political and social moment before the battle broke out over the Moynihan Report is to return to a time before the country's discussion of black poverty had hardened into fixed orthodoxies, before phrases like blaming the victim, self-esteem, out of wedlock childbearing. The term at that time was illegitimacy, and even teen pregnancy had become current.
You see? So this is why when they put up that other image, that already has some stereotypes. They just named them. Born out of wedlock, teen pregnancy, all of these different things, just like the examples I was giving of some of these sports players with the single mom. You see what I'm saying? Come on.
While solving the black poverty problem seemed an immense political challenge, as a conceptual matter, it didn't seem like rocket science. Most analysts assumed that once the nation removed discriminatory legal barriers and expanded employment opportunities, blacks would advance just as poor immigrants had.
Okay, so this article is going to go into the stereotype and kind of like their finances as well. But we're going to focus on the stereotype. That's why we're reading this article. Come on.
Conditions for testing that proposition look good. Between the 1954 Brown decision and the Civil Rights Act of 1964, legal racism had been dismantled, and the economy was humming along. In the first 5 years of the 60s, the economy generated 7 million jobs.
Roll it up.
Yet those most familiar with what was called the Negro problem were getting nervous. About half of all blacks had moved into the middle class by the mid-60s, but now progress seemed to be stalling. The rise in black income relative to that of whites, steady throughout the 50s, were sputtering to a halt. More blacks were out of work in 1964 than in 1954. Most alarming, after rioting in Harlem and Paterson, New Jersey in 1964, the problems of the northern ghettos suddenly seemed more intractable than those of the George Wallace South. Moynihan, the then Assistant Secretary of Labor and one of a new class of government social scientists, was among the worriers as he puzzled over his chart. One in particular caught his eye. Instead of rates of black male unemployment and welfare enrollment running parallel as they always had, in 1962 they started to diverge in a way that would come to be called Moynihan's scissors.
Okay, so read that one back. Instead of rates of black males. You see what I'm saying? Yes. So that's where it started with him being out of the house, the unemployment, the welfare. You see, and it started, and it shows you in 1962. And we're going to show a chart on this as well from this Moynihan guy. Go ahead. You want to read back from this? Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Instead of rates of black male unemployment and welfare enrollment running parallel as they always had, in 1962, they started to diverge in a way that would come to be called Moynihan's scissors. In the past, policymakers had assumed that if the male heads of household had jobs, women and children would be provided for.
Right.
This no longer seems...
Wait, that's American family. That's how they ran in America. The father take care of the household. But it only had a problem or effect with the black man. Right. The black fathers, the black male. Go ahead.
This no longer seemed true. Even while more black men, though still catastrophically low numbers, were getting jobs, more black women were joining the welfare rolls.
Because of those things that they said earlier. Teen pregnancies, welfare, born out of wedlock. Right. That's why you had the women still joining welfare. Go ahead.
Roll it up for me. Moynihan and his aides decided that a serious analysis was in order. Convinced that the Negro Revolution, a movement for equality as well as for liberty, was now at risk, Moynihan wanted to make several arguments in his report. The first was empirical and would quickly become the indisputable single-parent families were on the rise in the ghetto.
You see that? You see, this man already seen that, so he was documenting how it was on the rise, single parent households. So when you put that article out, that's the image you portraying, the stereotype. That's plain. When you see an article like this, that shows you that when you see another image portraying that, you can't say, oh, I didn't know. We didn't mean that. That's not our intent. You got to dig deeper to see that's not how we are. No, you know how we are already stereotyped. So that's why you should have made a different decision. That's why a response was, that's a lame excuse. That's why you had that response. Come on.
But other points were more speculative and sparked a partisan dispute that has lasted to this day. Moynihan argued that the rise in single mother families was not due to a lack of jobs, but rather to a destructive vein in ghetto culture that could be traced back to slavery and Jim Crow discrimination.
Wow, it could be traced back. So when you put up that image, look how they already know that these type of things were prevalent. They was already present. They was already a part of our history, the Jim Crow era. But guess what? You also have the Willie Lynch as well.
Right.
You see? So these things are a part of our being here in America. It has something to do with that.
Right. This has everything to do with the land of our captivity.
Right.
This goes back to, can I pull the scripture real quick?
Come on.
I don't know if you're going to get it, but it's Jeremiah 31:22.
Yeah.
Can we get that, please? This is exactly what's happening because we fell away from the Lord's commandments. We went away from the true hierarchy, the order that God set up. Now our enemies are confusing us, and now we don't know who's supposed to be in charge. The man, the woman, everything's supposed to be 50-50. Now the man's being ran out the house.
Right.
Women are turning to welfare, government assistance.
Right.
So it's a lot of confusion. Like you said, Officer Micah, you said that it's always been normal for the man to be the head of the house.
Right.
You know, and it's a sad thing when you take you take him out of the picture and you call that a family. There's no such thing as a family without the black man there if he's not in the house.
Exactly.
Read that.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31 and verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter?
This is talking about the daughters of Sarah, the women of Israel, the so-called black woman, black, Hispanic, Native American. Read.
Right.
For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth.
Come on.
A woman shall compass a man.
A woman is going to compass a man. She's going to be the head of the house now.
Right. Right.
She's going to be the one leading the children. And that's what we're seeing.
Exactly. That's why in that article it said that more women was getting government assistance, welfare. Why? Because they're the head. That's what's happening. The low income apartments, you can get in there as long as you ain't got no man. That's for you and your kid. We're providing for you. So they more of our people went into it. Let's pull up the he said go back to the Jim Crow. Let's go a little bit further than that. Let's go to the Willie Lynch letter. Let's pull this up. So it's showing you that it had to connect to us with that single parent household. Exactly. So this is the stereotype that was put out there. That's the point. So that's what we're trying to show you guys, Israel, about Israel core values. It's not what they was portraying. That's not what they're portraying. Right. And watch this effect that it had upon us. Come on, pull it up. All right, so we're going to go in the Willie Lynch letter and making of a slave. Come on. Yeah, read the little top part. Okay.
This is the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave. The breaking process of the African woman.
Roll it up. Bottom paragraph. So he's talking about the breaking process of a woman. Let's see how they did these things. So when you see this image with just her and those kids, this had already been happening to our women.
Wow.
You see that? Come on.
We reverse.
Understanding.
Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into this area of the subject matter concerning what we have produced here in this breaking process of the female nigger.
Now wait a minute. Now remember, we read an article. They say when you dig deeper, that's not what we really mean on the article. You see what I'm saying? But when he said when you dig deeper into on breaking a black woman, come on, read that.
We have reversed the relationships.
Wait a minute. He can't really get a job, but then they turn around and say even though black men are getting more jobs in a small number, But the women were still going in great numbers to go get this welfare. You see what I'm saying? Because you're reversing the roles. She's the head of the house. She's providing with this welfare. Just like the scripture that the officer just brought out. The woman has compassed the man, and it started with things like this.
Right.
Come on.
In her natural, uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male.
So they called us uncivilized. Those were terms that they was putting on it. We were civilized. We just didn't like the captivity y'all had us in, the way you was treating us.
Exactly.
All right. So they said that she depended on the man. Once again, when it went to them going to the welfare, you're not dependent on the man. Go ahead.
And she would have a limited protective tendency toward her independent male offspring and would raise the female offspring to be dependent like her. Nature.
So real quick, it says to be dependent like her, meaning now the white man can fall back.
Right.
Now our slave masters can fall back, and it would cycle itself out.
Yep.
She would teach the daughter to be just like her, and the young man to be a weak man.
Exactly.
And the woman and the little daughter to be now the head of the house.
Right. Instead of the little boy.
Right.
Yep. So that's exactly what they did. And once again, going back to the psychological thing, was a psychological thing that they did.
Well, what they're talking about here in this paragraph is that in their natural state, it would have been the woman dependent on the man the way it should be.
Right.
They're trying to break
that.
They're trying to break that natural relationship between a man and a woman.
Right.
And they're going to explain how they did that in the next paragraph.
Okay, go ahead. You can leave it right there, Kush. Go ahead.
We reverse nature by burning and pulling one civilized nigger apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death. All in her presence.
All in her presence. He's not nothing. This person you're depending on, the head of the household. If you want to do this video shoot with just you and your kids, you got a husband. You see it? But we're gonna destroy him in front of you. We can go ahead and move with this process without him. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. We could film just you and your kids. Go ahead.
By her being left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed, the ordeal caused her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen independent state. In this frozen...
That's good. Now go to the next page. Now let's talk about the brother. Let's talk about the males. So that's how they did the women. Bottom paragraph, officer. Continually.
Continually through the breaking of uncivilized savage niggers by throwing the nigger female savage into a frozen psychological state of independency, by killing of the protective male image, by creating a submissive, dependent mind of the nigger male savage, we have created an orbiting cycle that turns in its own axis forever.
There goes that cycle.
Mm-hmm. Hold it before you read the rest of that, Doc. I'm going right back up to say she's in a frozen psychological state of independency by killing of the protective male image.
Dang.
His image. So guess what they did when they put that article? I'm going to keep bringing that article up.
Right.
What they did with that article was they killed the man in the house.
Right. Right. They didn't have to do it physically.
Right.
Before they did it physically in slavery. Now they did it in the article, like you said, by eliminating him out of the equation.
Right.
They killed the black male image, and that's what it created.
Exactly.
Was a sister, a black sister, that is now over the family,
right.
And she's supposed to depend on the black man,
right.
Somebody that looks like her,
right.
For safety, security, comfort, protection.
Right.
Now, when she doesn't have that, she goes into this
frozen state, independency. So she's like, that's why she'll turn to whatever help that she can get. That's why they do those things. All right, go ahead and read on up. You can start back at by killing and of the protective.
By killing of the protective male image, by creating a submissive, dependent mind of the nigger male savage, we have created an orbiting cycle that turns in its own axis forever, unless a phenomenon occurs and reshifts the positions of the female savages.
That was good.
Israel is that phenomenon.
Yep. So that's what we're looking at today. Do we have the next article? That was good. That was good. So let's go to the next article. So the male image was destroyed, and they reversed the natural status to depend on the man. The next article, African American family structure. African American family structure. There we go. All right.
Can I get the title? Okay. African American family values. Like the ideas of most ethnic groups in the country, African American family values reflect many common goals and principles, but also vary according to geographic location, cultural and educational backgrounds, and prevailing economic conditions.
All right, read on.
Early African American family values. Before slavery was abolished, African American families were torn apart as parents and children were sold to different people.
You see, that goes right back to the Willie Lynch. You see, that's exactly. So when you showed that image, all these things connect with our history, things that have happened to us. So why they didn't show other families like that? They decided to show their whole families and say, look at this family. And they thought that no one was going to catch that. Come on.
African American families were torn apart as parents and children were sold to different people and taken to various geographic areas. Instead of bemoaning their fate, many African Americans vowed to find their lost loved ones, and even before the end of slavery, saved money and made plans to find those they had lost and buy their freedom. The shared treachery of these early families created exceptionally strong emotional bonds that gave them the physical and psychological fortitude to carry on.
Okay, roll up. Okay, read.
This separation from blood relatives fostered the
hold up. Go to where it says family matters. Roll it up. Roll it up. Roll it up. There we go.
Family matters. Since so many African American families were broken for so many decades.
You see, there it go again. But so when you put that image out there, that's like a reminder that our families were broken. Go ahead.
They resurged with the determination to reestablish a strong family presence.
So why didn't y'all put that image out there? You see what I'm saying? Y'all did not. So if you say it's not like that, if you got to dig deeper to see that we're not like that, no, you'd have put that out there from the beginning. This is our core thing that we're doing here at Burke's Bees. We make sure that we put the image of families out there. Right. That's what you would have did. You wouldn't have to go dig deeper to see that's what y'all do.
Yeah, we have to understand that a lot of these images that are put out there intentionally. It's not by happenstance. They do it for a reason.
That's right.
And they thought that they was going to just do that, and the so-called black community wasn't going to say anything about it.
I'm be honest with you. You give it about 5-10 years ago, before everything, it's obviously 2020 is a different animal.
Right.
Right. But you give it about 5, 10, 15 years ago, a lot of this was slipping through the cracks.
That's true.
A lot of this, but a lot with all the atrocities that's happening today, all people getting shot down, all brothers and sisters being more conscious.
Right.
They are starting to see the evils that are being done to them, even in subliminal messages, such as commercials and articles and newspapers and the internet, and they're starting to call the government out on their BS.
That's right.
And see that, look, this is not what we want. We want to be shown successful families just like yours.
Right. Just like they depend on our so-called votes. They depend on, we have rights and things like that. If you want to portray us right, portray us just like you portray you.
Absolutely.
Stop doing the subliminal messages.
and all that is witchcraft. It's all witchcraft. Because, and the reason why we're here bringing this out is because if it wasn't for this class, a lot of people still wouldn't
go over their head.
It'd go over their head. They'll see it and be like, oh, okay, I don't see nothing wrong. And then like, whoa, hold on now. This is, you're taking the black man, the most important figure of the house, according to the Bible, out of the equation.
Exactly. That's exactly what they're doing. So that's why he said in the first paragraph that we read that the families were broken apart for decades. All right, so read that again from Family Matters.
Since so many African American families were broken for so many decades, they resurged with the determination to reestablish a strong family presence.
Remember, family is the father, the mother, and the children. That's what the world call a family. Go ahead.
Multiple generations frequently lived in the same house, and children learned to respect and care for their elders, to practice good manners, and to avoid backtalk. Gender roles were blurred as the families worked together to integrate work schedules with children and housekeeping.
So without the male there, you know what one key thing thrives in our community? That backtalk part and respecting our elders. Without that male training up that child, the which way should go, like the Bible says, these are core values that we left. How to raise our children, how to respect the elders. Go ahead.
Real quick, in regards to that backtalk, because what you said was heavy, Officer Micah. That backtalk, when the children are in their, their time of innocence where they're so young.
Right.
Let's say the father is out of the equation. The mother can, for the most part, contain that child until he's about 13, 14.
Right.
He sees he's bigger than his mother now. Now that backtalk is no longer containable.
Right.
Now you see he's talking back. He's stronger than you.
Right.
He's not coming home when you say so.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you see the whole, you see, okay, what's missing? How do we fix this problem?
Right.
We need the man.
Exactly.
We need the father.
Exactly.
But he's not here.
Exactly.
And that 13-year-old that's talking back has a gun on him, selling drugs.
Right.
Where's the father?
Right.
That's why the father's so important.
So look who he's attracted to. Look who he's running with. That's when you have him start back talking to his teachers and the principal and the rebellions. Now he in the juvenile homes and all these things take place.
All authority to the point where now he does it to a police officer and gets shot down.
Yep. Without that father, because sidebar on what you're saying, that's when you see the ones that some of them that they do gun down, the father is there. Why do you do this to my son? You see, but majority of them, it's not the father not there. It's the mother crying. It's the mother saying with the sign up saying my son.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's most of that mother doing that. But read on.
Family ties were strengthened by heavy reliance on parents, children, grandparents, and in-laws to provide emotional, financial, and psychological support to each other during both good times and bad.
Psychological support. When they took her psychological independency on herself now instead of that, depending on that man. That's what they did to us in our history. Go ahead.
20th century developments. Around the 1960s.
And this is something we just read in another article in 1962. Go ahead.
African American family structures started to change. Social statistics estimated that nearly 80% of African American families during the 60s were headed by a husband and wife team.
You see that?
Team.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
He was in the house. Right. He was present. You see how they reverenced him first? They said the husband and the wife.
That's right.
Okay, so they was there in the 60s. So it was good. They was raising the, we had the slavery and things, and then they strong values start coming back. The structure was coming back in the early 60s. Okay, go ahead.
As economic conditions changed and poverty-stricken areas became more rampant.
There go right there. That's a problem. The poverty-stricken areas. That's a problem. But you had the parents there in the early 60s while they started rising. Go ahead.
And poverty-stricken areas became more rampant in major cities. More African-American women earned higher degrees and started working outside the home. This movement precipitated economic and psychological ripples that resulted in many African-American families today being headed by one spouse, which could be the mother or the father.
So 90% of the time, who is it?
It's the mother. It's the mother. And just real quick, it says they earned higher degrees.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, before I learned about this truth, all praise to the Most High. I was going to college. I was in the military. When I went to college, I'm telling you, the woman to male ratio had to be like 7-1, depending on what college you went to. Right. 7-1, 10-1, 5-1, 15-1, depending on what. You always see that these colleges are dominated by our women, the sisters.
Right.
They outnumber us in these classrooms.
Right. And that helped their numbers. What you're saying, they had that documented, wherefore they noticed an accurate statement they're saying right here.
Correct. And this is the thing, is because our men they're not hip to the game that Esau, that our enemies are conducting against us. They're not aware of that, so they're just going with emotions, just got it on cruise control, and just they don't see it. You brothers, y'all have to wake up and see what's going on.
Exactly.
The woman shall compass a man. We brought that out earlier.
Exactly.
And it is not, and this is by design.
And don't sleep on this time frame around the 1960s. You got to realize what the government was doing. They were instituting welfare, basically for single women, which allowed women to have more babies out of wedlock.
Right.
Because the government would take care of them. So that plus the FBI's COINTEL program that was kicking up because of the 60s black
revolutionary movements and stuff.
All of these things were designed to destroy the black family. I mean, this is not by happenstance that time frame 1960s keep popping up.
Right. All right, so from there, go to the next article. We're almost done with the articles, Israel. We're gonna get into some scriptures. We're almost done. This is just the way the class was designed. When I seen all these articles, I'm like, yeah, let's get it, and then we'll dive into the scriptures afterwards. All right, you got the next article. All right, the next article is the Washington Post. Okay, yeah, that one. Yeah. So we were just talking about the family, African American family structures in the last article. Okay, so now let's read this at the top, officer.
African American family structure. The family structure of African Americans has long been a matter of national public policy interest. A 1965 report by Daniel Patrick Moynihan.
Hold it. So remember, officers, we just looked at an article about in the 1960s, right? That this in the beginning, both parents was there, right? And then later on, you had either the mother or the father was there. And another article, it talks about the black male in the 1962 didn't really have that many jobs, all right? But read on. So in this 1965 report, come on.
A 1965 report by Daniel Patrick Moynihan, known as the Moynihan Report, examined the link between black poverty and family structure.
Come on.
It hypothesized that the destruction of the black nuclear family structure would hinder further progress toward economic and political equality.
Okay, so remember, it's not about the finances. It's not about that. It's about the structure. That's what we're focusing on. We're focusing on the structure. Okay, now let's read this chart roll it up so we can see just the chart and what's up under the chart. Scoot that over if you can. We're not going to read that on the side. There we go. Roll it up a little bit more. Well, now you got us in the bottom. That's okay. We'll look at this chart real quick. Go ahead. Well, no, let's read that up under it, then we'll look at the chart. Roll it up a little bit. There we go. Perfect.
Non-marital birth rates in the United States from 1940 to 2014. Out of wedlock birth rates by race in the United States from 1940 to 2014. Rate for African Americans is the purple line. Data is from the National Vital Statistics System reports published by the CDC, National Center for Health Statistics. Note, prior to 1969, African American illegitimacy was included along with other minority groups as non-white.
Okay, so you had other groups in here as well. Let's see who these other groups are. All right, now roll it down. Let's look at these groups. Okay, go ahead. No, right there, the races, okay. And then look at and the percentages and the years as well.
We have the national average is the blue line.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the national average. 10%. It started at about from like 2%, and it only rose up in 2010. It rose up to like 30%. It rose up to like 30%. That's the national. Okay, that's the national. Go ahead.
White is the red line.
So from 1940 to 2014, you see their percentage rose from 1940, and in 1990, that type of wedlock and stuff stopped in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Right? Read.
Non-Latino is in the green line.
So
the other nations.
Okay, the other nations. Look how far they have risen up. From 1990 to 2010, what is that? 30%. Go ahead.
Black is the purple line.
Mm-hmm. So now let's look at this purple line. Mm-hmm. We even started out higher. Well, no, that was the non-whites back there. 20% started at 20% in 1940, and by 1970 they stopped that wedlock stuff. The non-whites. But from 1970, remember 68, 65, 62, all these was getting, we just read about the one parent was in the house by this time this started happening. That's why this chart is so important to be looking at right now. Our people don't think about statistics like this. All right, so from 1970 to 2010, even though the article says 2014 up there, 2010, it risen up to like almost 70%. Wedlock single parent homes, the so-called blacks. Go ahead.
So what we're looking at here is that, okay, so the blue line is non-white. In the beginning from 1940 to 1960, blacks were included in the category of non-white. And you can see the trend is pretty below 20%.
Right.
But again, right there at 1960, you can see how that curve takes a huge spike up.
Right.
And then around 1970, they include blacks in the class by themselves, and that's the purple line up there. But look how that thing has just jumped up to like 70% of out of wedlock birth rate. That's,
so
that's
huge.
Black,
the black family is at the top of the chart.
Exactly.
With fatherless home.
Exactly. Okay, go ahead.
You want to read?
No, we already did the non-whites, and then now you at
the orange line is Latino.
See, so Northern Kingdom is included in this as well.
We right up under y'all.
Right. Go ahead.
And I guess that's light blue. Is
no. The percentage, please.
Oh,
what year it started?
Around 1990, it's at about 33, 35%.
Right.
And it's jumped up to about 55%.
50% of Latino homes are born out of wedlock. So remember, if you add up all the nations, you add up Israel, you got that 50% and that 70%.
Wow.
You see how Israel?
Right.
Look at the percentage we make up. Go ahead.
You got to add the Native American light.
We ain't
blue.
there yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah, when they started tracking Native American, I guess that's around 2000.
Yeah.
2005 or 2002.
What percentage they start at?
They're starting at 60%.
Wow. Wow. So,
and they topped out about
like about 65% in 2000.
So what 3 lines, can you answer me this last trivia? what 3 nations topped this chart?
The blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Drop the mic.
Yep.
You see that?
Damn.
Well,
so that's why we're going through this, because they showing you that they've been keeping track with it. So when they put that image out there, the people outcry and say, that's a lame excuse.
Right.
That's a lame excuse. That wasn't our intent. Y'all been tracking this. You know these type of statistics are out there.
Right.
All right. Do we have another article? Another article. Come on. African American family values. I think we just had that one up. I think.
Can I get one scripture real quick while you're looking for that? Give me 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3.
I like that. I like that.
Oh man, these statistics. I mean, looking at them, you know, in the articles, this thing hurts, man. You know, this is sad. It's sad that our people are going through this. And I'm telling you, the only thing that's going to heal the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the laws of God. This is the only thing that's going to reorganize, restructure the Israelite families, the Israelite home. Read what you got.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3. But I would have you know.
Hold on. Read verse 2.
Verse 2. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things.
Come on.
And keep the ordinances.
So the Lord is saying, keep the order. Keep the ordinances that he's about to go into the order that he set forth.
Right.
If you're a follower of Christ, as it says in verse 1, right? Be followers of me, even as I am also of Christ. Then you're going to keep the ordinances. You're going to keep the order.
Right.
Read.
And keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you.
Where were they delivered? Right here in the Bible.
Right.
If you're confused about the order, all you got to do is come back to the scriptures.
Right.
Because it's about to elaborate on the order that God set up on how it's supposed how it's supposed to look in the household, in the home, when it comes to the black man, the Latino man, the Native American man. Read.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
So every black man, you're the head of your house, but guess what? You submit to Christ.
Right.
We submit to Christ. Women are like, oh, I can't submit to no black man. Okay, well, don't submit to no black man that doesn't submit to Christ.
You're not going to get the kingdom.
Exactly.
Well, if you don't submit to the black man that's submitting to Christ.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So it's got to be in the Lord. So this is the thing. Women get upset. Oh, I can't be, I just can't see myself being submissive. How come the men ain't got to submit? We submit to Christ.
Exactly.
We ain't going to the club no more because of Christ.
Exactly.
We ain't being whoremongers and killers and murderers because of Christ.
Exactly.
We submit too.
Exactly.
Read.
The head of every man is Christ.
The head of every man is Christ. Read.
And the head of the woman is the man.
The head means the leader.
Right.
The leader of the woman is who?
And the head of the woman is the man.
Come on.
And the head of Christ is God.
Even Christ has a head, and it's his Father. So you have the order in the house. It is the Most High God. Christ, man, woman, and child.
Right. I'm glad you brought that point out. Go to Jeremiah 17:4. Remember, because this is something that we lost our core values, and that order is one of them. That's one of the core values we lost. All right. Now let's look at our direction, our heritage. Even like you said, they've been broken for decades. Right in that one article. All right. Go ahead. Read that.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
You see that? We have discontinued from our heritage. And what is our heritage? The law, statutes, and commandments. The structure that God gave us. You know how some people be quoting it, but they don't live it? Basic instructions before leaving earth.
Right, right. Hey, I love to hear that, because I say Now they say basic instructions before leaving Earth, but you don't even understand John 3:16. Right. If it's so basic, you'll be the true understanding on the order of the household. Exactly. It's not as basic as they, then they struggle with it, like you said, Officer Micah. It's not as basic as they try to label it. All right. So you want to finish out that precept?
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
So what he was going into right there is because of our disobedience, because we didn't want to keep his commandments. Well, now we living in a day and age to where we have to repent and keep his commandments, and then all of these structure will be given to us again. We can see it. You see that? So that's why as we repented, Israel, how that image looks so funny to us. Even people that unrepentant, that image looked funny to them.
Right. Unacceptable.
Exactly. That was it.
For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
As long as we're not repenting, as long as we continue to transgress his law, his anger he's gonna be angry with us. And it will continue forever. Because guess what? If you never repent, by the time Christ cracked that sky, guess what? You're gonna feel his wrath.
Right. And when they choose that, can I get another? Come on, Isaiah 32:9. And the reason why the women have no problem with this, it's unfortunate, but sisters, a lot of y'all, you are the problem, right? Because you're coming out on top, right? You're coming out with a degree,
right?
You're coming out with power, with being the leader, and women crave that thing, just like Eve did.
There you go.
Back in Genesis, good point. Just like Eve wanted to be like Adam, the serpent said, "No, you can be like him. You don't have to submit. Right. You could be a god too." It's the same spirit today. Read what you got.
Right. They both couldn't be the head. He was telling you could be the head too.
Right.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 32 and verse 9.
Come on.
Rise up.
Meaning wake up.
Right.
Because I'm telling y'all sisters do not see the game that the white man is doing to your men. Right. Is doing to you. The game that he's running on your families, right, by giving you that power, by giving you that welfare check, by giving you them food stamps, by giving you that Section 8, everything that's making you comfortable, read.
It goes right back to the Willie Lynch, reversing the roles.
Bring it out.
Go ahead.
Read.
Rise up, ye women that are at ease.
The Bible is telling you, daughter of Sarah, so-called black women, wake up. You women that are at ease. What does it mean you're at ease? Meaning they qualify for food stamps way faster than we do.
That's true.
They qualify for welfare faster than we do.
That's true.
They say you want to qualify for this? Just get the black man out the equation. Right. Make sure he can't be at home with you. Right. You got to take care of the kids yourself. And we'll put them on child support and make your life easier.
I just got to comment on that image again. And that image shows that even they will even give an independent parent this type of opportunity. Look at this picture right here. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Go ahead, officer.
Read it from the top again.
Rise up, ye women that are at ease.
So the white man is giving you this power. He's giving you everything you need to make your life easier than the so-called black man. Read.
Hear my voice, ye careless daughters.
But our women don't care.
Right.
Because a gift destroyeth the heart. They are being careless. They're like, no, long as me and my kids are good, I don't care about that Negro.
Yep.
Long as I keep getting this paycheck and he don't pay his child support no way. He ain't nothing but a this or that. Like
deadbeat dad.
Man, I'm telling you, everybody is against the black man, even our own women.
Right.
I'm telling you, man.
And like I said, that was the stereotype that we was looking at.
Right.
That's exactly why the officer bringing this out. The stereotype, and then the Most High also prophesied that our women will be acting like that. Jeremiah, they gonna compass us. Right. All of these things has happened in our community with our nation.
Right. I think that's it on that, right?
Give ear unto my speech.
You hear that, sisters? Give ear to what we bringing out, man, because we are trying to heal our families. We're trying to bring back before the 1960s, like Officer Othniel said, the 1960s, we had well-structured families. Right. The incarceration rate wasn't as high.
Right.
The drug rates weren't as high.
Right.
You understand? The poverty levels wasn't as high.
Right.
Because we worked together as a team.
As a family. A family.
A family.
Right. All right. So give me that next article about this. The Washington Post. Watch this one, officer. There we go. Let's read that one.
This is an article from the Washington Post. How the news media distorts black families.
Read that again. No, read the top, please. No, yeah, okay. Read that again.
How the news media distorts black families.
Okay, so it's talking about the news media, how they put us out there. The news media. So just like you were saying earlier, officer, now you look at the articles, you look at the movies, you look at the commercials. The news media, it has their hand in it as well.
That's right.
Go ahead.
A new study shows outlets from Fox to CNN to the New York Times are guilty of misrepresentation.
Now, that's a heavy word. That last one, misrepresentation. That's how they have depicted the black family.
Dang.
You could really take news out of that article and just say how the media distorts black families, because it's not just the news media, it's Facebook,
Right.
all of YouTube.
Right.
What's that one? World Star Hip Hop.
Right.
All of that crap.
Yep.
You in the spirit, officer.
Yep, most definitely. All of the media. Okay. You know how Bishop always going to Revelation with the flood?
Right,
You know?
right.
The media.
That's what it is. Damn.
Yeah, okay. You go ahead and pull that one down. Did we have another one? Or that's it? That's it? All right, so now we're getting the scripts, officer. I just had to get that out.
All praises.
Had to get that out. Give our people, like we do at camp, we show them these visuals.
Right.
You know, so we read these articles and we kind of, talked about what we seen in these articles, what we was reading in these articles. Now let's go and talk about some core values in the Bible. All right, so first, go to Sirach chapter 30, verse 1. Some core values in the Bible according to how a family is structured.
Bring it out.
Just like this article was saying.
That's right.
The African American structure. Well, we talking about the Israelites. We talking about all of Israel.
Right.
Come on.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 1. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod.
Okay, so once again, just like how we talked about with the single parent, when that mother raising him, she ain't, when he get 13, like you said, officer, this ain't happening because the man ain't there. He outgrow that mom. That's when disrespect start coming to that mom.
Right.
Come on.
That he may have joy of him in the end.
Why? Because he corrected him. He trained him up right. He gave him a vision. He sat him down. He talked to him. He let him know the do's and the don'ts.
That's right.
Come on.
He that chasteneth his son shall have joy in him, and shall rejoice of him among his acquaintance.
Among his acquaintance. Yeah, that's my boy. Yeah, look at, oh yeah,
Right.
he Junior. I named him after me. You know, he got a good number of good things to say about it.
Right.
Yeah. He had little issues at school, but we ironed it out. Or whatever. You say,
Right.
'cause that's
That
his
little ride for
job.
him.
Yeah, that's his. He gonna make sure he get Junior right. Come on.
Verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
See, that's heavy. That's heavy.
Yes, sir.
Because if he's not there to do that, that's when you have him going toward the gangs. That's when you have him being disrespectful to that single parent, to that principal. You see what I'm saying? Coming in late at night. Now he ain't got no regards for your rules at the house.
Right.
You see that? Because if you train him up right, he's gonna grieve the enemies. Why? Because now he gonna be that next generation that's gonna have these same values.
You know, we talked a lot about that age when they get to that teenage years, right? And they get to be bigger than mom. But don't sleep on the development that's taking place when they 2 and 3 and they watching how mom treat dad. They're watching how dad move. That's important to have that man in the house so they can set that example for that little toddler.
That's true. Yep, exactly, officer. Come on.
He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him.
Come on.
Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead. For he has left one.
Hold up, officer.
Hold on. You remember that article you said they killed his image. They killed a black man.
Yep, Willie Lynch.
Right.
They destroyed and killed the black male image.
Right. So when the Israelite man is setting his house in order, even if something happens to me, something happens to us,
right?
That male, that black son, that Israelite son, guess what? He already knows you can kill my daddy. You can try to destroy me by killing him with the images. It ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Because my son taught my father. The son would say, "My father taught me all of this already. He didn't spare the rod on me. He taught me correction.
Hey, officer, you're in the spirit, bro. Because immediately you make me think about the core values we have here in IUIC.
That's right.
You're gonna get correction.
Right.
You see, they show us all of these different things. That's why we do the chant. We don't sell drugs no more. You know, we raise our families. You know, take care of our kids. That's why we say these things. Those are our core values, and it's all Bible based. All Bible based. So good point, officer. Come on.
Though his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he have left one behind him that is like himself.
That's why the bishop always said, like, you can take out the leadership. We're raising up men that's gonna continue this movement on.
That's right.
You see that? So value is important. Family structure is important. Nation building is important.
Bring it out.
All right. All right. So it said we've been destroyed for decades, but guess what? We're bringing this thing back. All right. So from there, another example on core values, that was with the father and the son. Another one with the male. Proverbs 22:6. All right. So these are some core values that we teach here, and all of the families are taking suit and keeping God's commandments in this fashion. Come on.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Okay, so is that not what we just read in Sirach?
Yes, sir.
Because once he trained him up, he said he gonna be happy with him. So when he die off, people gonna say, "Look, he just like his dad.
Exactly.
He's doing the same thing his dad was doing. He have the same values, integrity that his dad does." So that's what our nation is coming to be, rather than this image, this stereotype, this misrepresentation that is going on.
Correct. That's right.
Those things are not us. They're fabricating who we are. All right. So that's why it's important for us to continue to put these images out, like the little memes that we do here. Let's make marriages great again.
Correct.
You know, all these different memes that we're doing, showing, look, these things live.
Right. Black fathers matter.
Right. These things are real, man.
Israelites matter. All those memes that we put to try to reinstill the standards that the Lord set forth, so that we can, you know what I'm saying, we can now begin to heal our nation.
Right.
Begin to heal the families.
Exactly. Now let's switch over and go to the sisters. Titus 2, chapter 2, verse 3. You see, it's all written in here. This is something we discontinue from, but we come back to these core values. That's why we teach these things. That's why the sisters have a Titus 2. And we're going to see what some of the things that they go over and what they're coming back to. All right, come on.
This is the book of Titus, chapter 2 and verse 3. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things.
So they're going to be teachers of good things, not drunkards and all that. Come on.
That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed.
I just thought of some, officer, the Willie Lynch, because she was dependent on the man. That means she was obedient to the man.
Right.
And they put her in the frozen state, and then now she's independent.
Right.
Right.
She wasn't following these core values anymore.
Right. And that media took over again, like that music.
Right.
The independent, remember that independent woman
about
music?
That independent woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's a good
man.
thing.
Right. Like, I'm an independent woman. Oh, Lord.
Right. So these are some of the core values that the sister have lost. But like I say, we have it here in IUIC.
That's right.
All right. So from there, go to 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 2. And all of these are like what we call here milk or basic things.
Yes, sir.
But they are core values.
That's right.
They are core values. Come on.
This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 2 and verse 2. I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man.
You see that? Because he's going to leave an avenger like himself. So he showed him how to be a man.
Right.
And then we're gonna read on. He's gonna show you this is how you be a man, my son. Come on.
Verse 3, and keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself.
I got to read number 3 again. And keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in all his way, to walk in his ways, and to keep his statutes. That's what we have to do, Israel. That's how we have to continue to train up our children. All right, to keep his statutes. All right, show thyself a man. All right, so from there, go to another example for the children. Sirach 3, 1-8. Sirach chapter 3. So we're giving examples on the men, the women, and the children, our core values. This is about the children, the core values for the kids. Watch this.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear me your father, O children, and do thereafter, that ye may be safe. For the Lord hath given the father honor over the children.
You see that? He did not give us the mind to be disrespectful to our elders,
right,
to our parents. That's never supposed to be part of our custom. So that's why we're training them up which way they should go.
Right.
And they won't be picking up these type of bad habits. All right, come on.
For the Lord hath given the father honor over the children, and hath confirmed the authority of the mother over the son.
What was that confirmed at? Titus 2. You see that? Come on.
Verse 3. Whoso honoreth his father maketh an atonement for his sins.
You see that? So he's constantly showing us by keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, the Most High will continue to be with us. All right. So that's why we have to come back to the thing that we're disconnected to. That's why those images don't show what we're reading, because that stereotype, they know what it would do for our people.
Right.
All right. Read.
Verse 4. And he that honoreth his mother is as one that layeth up treasure. Whoso honoreth his father shall have joy of his own children.
So even before you said that, read from the top.
Verse 5. Whoso honoreth his father shall have joy of his own children. And when he maketh his prayer.
No, I meant right up above that.
Verse 4.
And
he that honoreth his mother is as one that layeth up treasure.
Come on.
Whoso honoreth his father shall have joy of his own children.
Now, you know what just happened right here, officers? He was telling you about honor thy mother and thy father.
Yep.
But then he just went further and told you some benefits from honoring your mother and your father. You see that? The kids, the children, this is something that he instilled in us. That's why we have these different things. Give him the rod so he won't depart. All these different, showing you how to train him up. And then they're supposed to honor these type of things. Go ahead, read on.
He that honoreth his father shall have a long life. And he that is obedient unto the Lord shall be a comfort to his mother.
You see that? These are benefits. You're going to have a long life by honoring your mother and your father. Come on.
He that feareth the Lord will honor his father and will do service unto his parents as to his masters.
Just like you would do if you was on a job. You obedient to them. You don't do no talking back. Yes, sir. Okay, no problem. You want me to go do that? Okay, yes, sir. Well, all right, we'll go do that. Yes, sir. Yes. You get up, you do it, no problem. All right, so you can stay on the clock to 5 o'clock. Then after that, you can go. Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good day. We good. He say the same way you honor your master, do that to your parents.
That's right.
Do that to your parents. Core values, Israel.
Bring it out.
Read.
Verse 8. Honor thy father and mother both in word and deed, that a blessing may come upon thee from them.
You see that? They would never have a problem doing anything for you. That's why he said in Sirach 30 that he rejoiced in his son. He rejoiced in him. Why? Because he trained him up. He's obedient. The laws tell us to train up our children like that. That's why in Deuteronomy he also says, he talks about when you're walking down the street, when they rise it up, when they land on the bed, give them these things, feed them this. You ain't got to feed them the TV all day. Give them these instructions out of the Bible.
Right.
You got to bring them back to this heritage.
Right.
All right.
Or just keep an iPad or the iPhone in their hand. We gotta break that. You gotta, like you said, add reference in Deuteronomy 6,
right,
where it talks about waking up. You talk about, hey, the laws of God. Christ is black. You're an Israelite.
Right.
When you going to sleep, say your prayers.
Right.
You're an Israelite. You the greatest thing walking this
there
earth.
You go.
You know, you building up your sons and your daughters at all times.
Right. That's right. Exactly right. So from there, go to Psalm 78 and 5.
Bring it out.
Psalm 78, verse 5.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 78 and verse 5. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children, that the generation to come that the generation to come might know them.
All right. Hold it right there. So the generations to come might know them. Just like we read in the article, one of those articles, he said the African American families have been like separated for decades. You know, that's a long damn time.
Absolutely.
That's a long time. You have people dying at 20 years old, 40 years old. You see what I'm saying? And at that time, if that like lifespan of a person, we were still in a destroyed state. That's the point I'm trying to make. In a 30-year lifespan, for decades, there was separation. But he said that you teach to them so it could pass down from generation to generation. We got to learn these laws, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 6, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children.
You see that? So that's why he said he's going to raise up one after him in Sirach 30. Go ahead.
Verse 7, that they might set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments.
Right, right. So even with that being said, I refer back to that article again, that image. When those people said you could have used a different family. Why? Why do you think that was so important for that to be said? Because when you look at the other families, that was probably no comments made about their family structure. But when they seen this one, it looked so odd. It looked so odd.
Can I get a scripture?
Come on.
Give me Genesis 3:16. It looks so odd to everybody if you're so black, Hispanic, and Native American.
Right.
Read what you got.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children.
So what's happening here was the Lord was punishing Eve, right? Because of the sin that she committed, because she wanted to be equal to her husband. Right. She didn't want a hedge or a protector. She wanted to be of the same caliber.
Right.
Right? Read.
And thy desire shall be to thy husband.
You see that? He said, now I'm going to punish your behind. And everything that you desire is not going to be your desire.
Right.
Your desire, what you want in life, what you want to work for, your dreams, your aspirations will be whose?
Shall be to thy husband.
Whatever your husband wants.
Right.
Not your own, not living your own independent life and what you wanted to do.
Right.
Your desire shall be to your husband. Read.
And he shall rule over thee.
So a lot of our sisters was like, no.
Right.
No, I don't. He shall rule. He's going to have power over me. I'm telling you, a lot of you sisters, one of when you think about spirits that we deal with, a lot of y'all don't understand that a lot of y'all deal with the spirit. You struggle. Your stumbling block is you are power hungry.
Right.
And Esau, the white man, is giving you the power that you want, and you do not want to let it go.
Right.
And God says, you're not to have power over your black man. The black man is supposed to rule over you.
Right.
But because it feels so good to be in that power, that leadership role, it's coming at the expense of the destruction of your own people.
Right.
But because you're selfish and you only care about the welfare check, the child
Right.
support, the money, you looking at the carnal things.
Right.
You're being detrimental and destroying your own nation.
Yeah, it go right back to the couple of precepts you brought out, officer. The order.
Correct.
1 Corinthians 11. When, like I said, when they look at this Genesis 3 as a bad thing, he shall rule over you. He's just saying he's got the order over you.
That's it.
That don't look at it as, oh, you his slave.
Right.
No. It goes right back to that's the order. He's over you. And then Titus chapter 2, how to love their children, how to love their husband, how to be a keeper. That's all it's saying.
She don't see the black man as Christ. That's
Right.
the thing.
Right.
You don't believe Christ is black. That's the
Right.
problem.
Right.
Because if it's the white man that's ruling over you, remember what you said earlier? Oh yeah, I work a
Yeah,
few more
master.
hours. Yeah, I do it. Yes, sir, master. They see the white man as God,
Right.
so they listen and they hearken to everything he says.
Right.
But when it's coming from somebody that looks like them, because we have that, we've been bred at that self-hatred through Willie Lynch to
Right.
not see God in one another, Christ in one another. Now this is how we maneuver with our own people.
Right.
With that self-hatred.
You in the spirit, officer. You in the spirit, because I had that precept as well. So, actually, that was the next one. So, go to Sirach 26. So that was going to be an example on the woman that the officer brought out. All right. Now let's get this other example on the woman.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 26 and verse 26. A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all.
You see that? A woman that honored her husband should be judged wise of all.
A black husband.
Right. Yeah, and that goes right back to she's what's the word I'm looking for? Not subject, but obedient. Like Titus said, obedient to their own husbands. That's what it's telling you. Go ahead.
But she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all.
And that pride is what you were saying over there in Genesis we just read. That pride is when you don't want to submit to your husband. That's pride. You want to do your own thing. You want it to be equal. Eve had pride on her.
That's
all right, but you want to be counted as wise, a wise woman. All right, you had some else?
No, that was heavy.
All right, go to verse 1 through 3, same chapter.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26 and verse 1. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace.
In peace. Why?
Man, that sounds
why?
so
Give
good.
me an example why he'll fulfill his days in peace. Come on, also. Why will he fulfill his days in peace if he got a virtuous, obedient, subject woman? Obedient wife.
Obedient
Right.
wife.
Why would his days be long like that?
Because this woman is wise and she understands the order. She's not giving them hell.
That's what I'm looking
coming home
for.
to a peaceful home.
That's what I'm looking for. Exactly.
She's living out the scriptures.
She's not stressing them out. She's not a dragon in the house.
I think Bishop said it, Bishop Nathaniel. He said, you're being that pillar of rest, not that pillar of stress.
Exactly. Read on.
Verse 3. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord.
Wow, that make me think about that Proverbs. I forget where it said the proverb where he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. You know, so that's what the Most High is saying right here. So that's how you want to be. That's showing that the core values that we have, this is how our women are. All right, so from there go to Ephesians 5:33.
Bring it out.
Ephesians. Then we got a couple more examples. We're gonna wrap it up. All right, so some core values that we don't have anymore, but we're bringing back to our nation. Our people just need to get on the bandwagon and follow suit. That's it, man. Right. Keep God's commandments and watch our nation rise. Come on.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 33. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself.
Okay, come on.
And the wife see that she reverence her husband.
You see that? That the wife reverence her husband. Why? Because Genesis said that he's going to rule over you, and your desires going to be toward him. That's reverencing him.
That's right.
That's the spirit our sisters should be in. All right. So from there, go to Proverbs 29:17. Proverbs 29:17. The women should reverence their husband. So that means you have both parents in the house.
Exactly. There's no other way.
All right, come on.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 17. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul.
You said you'll be proud of him. So that's why we should raise him the right way. And it takes both parents to do that. The male, as he continue to grow up, he's constantly showing him certain things. And the mom, and while he's growing up, she's showing him certain things or her certain things. All right, so that's why it's important to have both parents in the house.
Right, because when they say correct your son, he shall give thee rest, you won't be up all night worried about he's selling drugs outside.
Right,
he out there
right.
gang banging and shooting and looting or whatever he doing.
Right.
He shall give thee rest. Why? Because he's a humble child. He's in the house.
Right.
He's reading his Bible. He's watching, read. Or,
right.
And that brings that sense of
that rest,
peacefulness,
Peacefulness, right?
Yeah. So therefore, you don't have the wedlock rate constantly going up. You don't have the one parent in the household going up. You have what marriage is honorable.
That's right.
All of these type of things start to come back into play. All right, no fornication. Don't whore out the daughters of Sarah. All these different things. Man, I said the daughters of Sarah. The daughters of Israel. Right. We get away from these things and we come back to these core values.
Bring it out.
All right, so go to Sirach chapter 25. Sirach chapter 25. Read verse 1, please.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 25 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
In 3 things I was beautified and stood up beautiful both before God and men: the unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, a man and a wife that agree together.
Okay, so that goes right back to the order, 1 Corinthians all over again. When they're in agreement that he shall rule over you, Genesis all over again. All right, so a man and a wife that agree together. All the other things are beautiful, and he also included the man and the wife. He didn't include just a single parent household.
Right.
That's never part of God's plan. He said, "Be fruitful and multiply."
Right.
You leave your mother and your father, and y'all two are one twain. That's the only time it's one, because y'all agree together.
That's right.
In these days, unfortunately, our sisters do not agree with the black man.
Right.
Now, and a lot of our sisters are correct, because a lot of our brothers have not repented.
Right.
They out in the world,
Right.
being evil as hell. All right. But now you see Israelites are waking up.
Right.
You understand? So we are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. So I like what it says. It says a man, and a man of the Lord, of course, and a wife that agree together in God's laws.
Right. Exactly. Read verse 3.
Verse 3. If thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth.
Hold it right there. If you ain't gained nothing in your youth, remember, the parents are giving you these things. Train up your child. So these are attributes that you're supposed to pick up as you're growing up.
That's right.
Go ahead.
If thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth, how canst thou find anything in thine age?
That's when it goes back to, just for an example, when the one parent in there, when you don't have that father in there telling you no, when you don't have that parent telling that father in there telling you go cut the grass, when you don't have that parent that one, you see what I'm saying? When you got that one, you probably don't learn nothing as you growing up.
Right.
Go ahead.
Responsibility.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Oh, how comely a thing is judgment for gray hairs, and for ancient men to know counsel. Oh, how comely is the wisdom of old men.
You see that?
And
remember, so now this is one that have been trained up, who are an avenger after his father, things like that. His father have shown him how to be a man, like we read in 1 Kings. All right, so in his old age, what happens?
Oh, how comely is the wisdom of old men, and understanding and counsel to men of honor.
Come on.
Much experience is the crown of old men, and the fear of God is their glory.
Okay, so that's it on that. So the fear of God is his glory. Why? Because he stayed in his commandments all these times. He honored, like we read in Sirach 3, honor your mother and your father. You're going to see long days.
Right.
You see that?
Right.
And then it shows you right here in chapter 25 with the long day. But it started out with them agreeing together, and then the kids, and then in his old age. All right, so from there, go to one more on the women, and we're going to close it out with the kids. Go to Proverbs 31, 10 to 12. Proverbs 31.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
Mm-hmm.
The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her.
Come on.
So that he shall have no need of spoil.
Why? Because he know that the husband and the wife, that's beautiful before God. They agree together. Right. So he ain't got no worries because he knows she in agreement with him. Come on.
Verse 12. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
Because she know her role. She's obedient unto her husband, like it talks about in Titus. All right, last precept. Go to 1 Maccabees 2 and 64. 1 Maccabees.
So pretty much what you're saying, Officer Mike, is all we doing, according to the scriptures, is coming back to our true culture.
Exactly.
Our true heritage.
Right. Yep, and you also could say we rehearsing the righteous acts.
Yes, sir.
Which is keeping God's commandments.
That's right.
All right, go ahead.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 64.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore, ye my sons, be valiant, and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law. For by it shall ye obtain glory.
You see that? So just David said to his son, Maccabee said to his sons, and by it ye shall obtain glory. By keeping God's commandments, eternal life. That's what Christ told that young man with all those riches. All right, so that's what we go out and tell our people as well. Do you want eternal life? Yes, well, keep God's commandments.
That's right.
All right. So with that, that's all we got. We hope y'all enjoyed today's class. What you got, Doc?
Don't forget to donate to the Booster Club.
Right.
And also, if you want to help out the school in Austin,
yes,
you got a web address for Austin? Do you have a PayPal account?
Absolutely. What is iuic.austin@israelunite.org on the PayPal?
Right.
All praises.
All praise. Shout out to Soldier Kish out here in Austin. Appreciate you on the IT. All right. Go to the website, Israel United in Christ, for fringes, Bibles, all of those different things.
Right. Originalroyalty.com.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So with that, that's all we got. With that, I'm Officer Mike out of Houston. We down here in Austin.
Officer Hales.
And Officer Otniel.
And with that, we'll say shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.